Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Gordon Chesapeake here. So in this video I'm going to talk about an issue that I was having when I was building my own application with React Native. Basically when you have a text input like this at the bottom of the screen right now above your bottom tab navigation, when you tap on this to start typing, it works fine in Android. You can start typing and you see everything here because the keyboard actually pushes everything up, but with iOS we can't do that really. So I can still type, but since this keyboard is covering my text, I don't see what I'm typing basically, and it doesn't push it up out of the box. So what we're gonna do in this video is handle that programmatically. So when we open this keyboard in iOS, it pushes that that text input up, and then you can see what you're typing. As you close the keyboard by like tapping outside, and that will also push this text input in this area down to the bottom, so just like right above this bottom navigation. So please make sure to hit the like button below this video if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have some exciting videos coming up, so make sure you are notified once I have those available. Alright, so let's get started. So the starting point for our code here is the final code that we had in the last video. I put a link to this the GitHub repository with the code in the description box below the video, and you'll also see some links up here to the videos that I have created so far, specifically the last video, so you can just go and see how we created this whole thing. So just so that you know, we are using Expo development build, so using the dev client package, and then I'm also using Expo router here. So all the screens are under this app folder. I have like a bottom tab navigation, and then right now I only have a dashboard and a profile tab. You can see that if I run npx expo start dev client again, since I have development builds, I will be able to just hit a key and it's going to open my application over here. And if you don't know what development client and all that is, again, I'll put links to those videos in the description box below. This one, so as you see here, I have a dashboard and a profile screen, and then I'm going to add another screen. So this one is gonna be chat, and I need to add a new file over here, and I call that chat.tsx, and this is just gonna be a simple component for now. So I'm going to copy a piece of code here. We have a custom text component that we created previously when we added different our font, and so this custom text actually already has that font in it, and that is under this component over here. This I explained in my previous videos, but doesn't matter. You could just use the text from React Native for now. And I'm going to save this and also save this layout, and you'll see that now we have this chat screen over here, and all it has right now is just the text chat as we added here in the middle of the screen. So we have our chat screen ready, just simple text in the middle of the screen. Now you can see it on both Android and iOS. We're going to add more elements to this screen. So first things first, we're going to install this React Native keyword over scroll view, which is a very long name, but yeah, they could have just made an acronym or something, but yeah. Anyways, this is really helpful when you have keyboard popping up with input fields. It helps with the input fields not getting stuck behind the keyboard. You can like easily scroll and that's all kind of taken care of by the library, so you don't have to worry about anything. So we're going to just easily install that. I'm going to open a new terminal and npx expo install that library, and then this is going to install the library for us. Alright, that's done now, and we should be able to see that React Native Keyboard Ever Scroll View is here. So the next step is I'm going to add that library into my screen over here. So we have the Keyboard Ever Scroll view from that library, and what I'm going to do is basically I have this screen over here. Everything above a like text input down here is gonna be that scroll view area, and then I will have like a text box down here where we will use to like add chat text. And so for that, I'm just going to add a little bit of code here. We can make a little bit of change here. What I will be doing, I have this keyboard Ever Scroll view, and I'm giving these background colors for now so that you can see what's happening. We want it to cover the entire screen, and then just a little bit down here we will eventually add the text input. So if I save it right now, you'll see that both of these are basically like covering this red color is covering the entire screen. And then after that, if I add my text input, which will be at the bottom of the screen, it has to be added like below this keyboard over area. And then I will also add text input from React Native, and I have a little button that kind of like to hit send and send the message. We do have a state that we also need to take care of, the value that's being added to the text input. So I'm going to do that as well here. Make sure import use state. So basically what we have here is a state to keep track of the text that's being inputted in the text input, and then we have a button that we'll use to like send a message, and I have this little icon. Let me import that also from expo vector icons. So that's like a little send icon that we'll see in a minute. I'm going to also actually change its color to maybe a blue for now, and then save it. And then you'll see that we have this text input at the bottom of the screen, as I mentioned, and this is the little feather icon that I was talking about for sending text. So if I tap on this is Android, so I'm going to tap on this, and you see that easily it comes up. And if we had a lot of text over here, so for example, let's see, I'm going to add a ton of text here and then save, and let's see if that's enough. Just double it, save, and then we'll see like we have a lot of text. If I click on it, I can actually scroll up and down without needing to add anything else. And another good thing about this library, the React Native Scroll View, is that if you tap outside, it will actually minimize the keyboard. So everything actually right now looks fine for Android, no problem. You can type here, you can add your message, you can scroll the text above and then tap on it, and it will the keyboard will disappear. The problem is here with iOS. If I tap on it, the biggest problem is that it's covering my text input down there. I can scroll, but then I can't really scroll all the way, so the text input comes up, because this is the keyboard ever scroll. The keyboard ever scroll view is on top of my view for my text input, so basically that's being covered by the keyboard, so I can't type anything here. Well, I could type, but I can't really see what's happening until I kind of hide this keyboard, and now I can see the text. So even though that's out of the box available for Android, that is not the case for iOS. So we're gonna implement a fix for that as well, and in the meantime making sure that doesn't affect Android. So in order for us to fix the problem that we're having with iOS here, what we're gonna do is going to make sure that when we open the keyboard over here, this section with the text box is also being kind of pushed up and then placed on top of this keyboard over here. So we have to take care of that kind of in the code manually. Android actually does that, as we saw, but iOS is not doing that. So to do that, first of all, I'm going to convert my view over here where I have the text input to an animated view, and for that we're going to import the animated element from React Native. And then all I need to do is to add animated before the view over here, and then make sure I also have the same over here for the closing tag. And then the next thing we're gonna do, we need to introduce some refs so that we can keep track of this movement of this box over here. So and basically the keyboard, when it comes up, we kind of calculate the height of the keyboard and then move this up top the keyboard. So for that, let's add a couple of new refs over here. We actually just need one to keep track of the height that we need to translate vertically, basically our element, our chat box. And so I'm introducing this translate y ref, which is kind of using animated value by default 0 because it's at the bottom, and then we'll push it when keyboard is opened. In order to track the keyboard opening and hiding, actually we can define a use effect. I'm going to import use effect from React, and then keyboard element actually from React Native has a listener that we can kind of tap into that, and the two events that we're going to listen to, one is the keyboard will show and one is the keyboard will hide. And I get to this code in a little bit, but let me just quickly import what's needed to be imported. And then one thing we need to note is that we need to remove these listeners once the component is unmounted. So we add this return in our use effect function so that we take care of that as well. What's happening here is basically we can get the keyboard height from the event that we have access to in this callback function, and get the end coordinates of it, and from that we can get like the height of the keyboard, save it as new keyboard height, and then we're going to animate our chat box over here to go move with the keyboard. Where the keyboard ends, it's gonna be on top of the keyboard, and for that we're just gonna use this animated timing function. It is going to basically go to the translate y ref, this ref that we have here, use that, and then the value will be what we need to do is, since this translate y is moving up is negative, we gotta make sure that the tab bar height that we have here, we subtract the new keyboard height from that. And for the tab bar height, we can easily get that using the use bottom tab bar height from React Navigation bottom tabs, and then use that hook to get the tab bar height, and this is how we get that. So this is gonna give us the tab bar height. You can console log these values and see what's happening during the process, but this is basically what we need to do to take care of moving the text box, the chat box at the bottom over here. Last thing we need to do, we need to update the styling of this animated view, because that's where the movement happens. It kind of like moves up, and to make sure that it moves up properly, we need to add this style to it. So and like we saw for Android, we don't need to do anything. So if our platform.os is iOS, we're going to use that ref that we defined to basically transform this view. If it's not iOS, we'll just don't do anything. So Android by default will take care of that. So if I save this right now and go back here, for Android we should still be fine. We're not doing really much for Android. But for iOS, now I'm pushing it up. Now, if I tap outside, it goes down, and I'm pushing it up. There's this little margin thing that I guess is because I have MX for this over here. We can change that to PX2, and that should take care of that. So, as you see right now, Android still works fine. If I tap here outside, and if I tap here outside, iOS is also working fine with that little animation. And for the animation, you probably noticed that I was using this easing. You can play with this, but I think either I found it somewhere or just played around with what I had. This might have been from like a GitHub issue or like Stack Overflow or somewhere. But yeah, so with this code that we added, now iOS is working fine as well. One thing to note here is that I have a max height for my text input. So if I go over here and start typing, this is very handy. If you don't have a max height for multi-line text input, it's just gonna keep growing. But with the max height, it actually doesn't let it grow more than you wanted, and then you have like this scrolling effect that will allow you to keep this text area limited, maybe based on the height of like font size, and then height of this box. You can have like 3 to 4 lines at a time. So same thing for Android as well. You can see that as I keep typing, this will grow, but then at some point it just like stops, and then we go to that scrolling mode that we have, and that's very good user experience as well. There are ways that you can actually just take control of that more programmatically. So for example, there is this function or like prop that you can use for text input, and it's called on content size change. So you can actually define a handle content size change over here, and then with that you can have a state for your input height. So for example, let me define a state for my input box height up here. I have text input height set to 60 pixels at the beginning, but then when the content height changes, I have this function that I can use to kind of control everything with the input height. So you see here that I have a maximum of the height and 40. So at the minimum I want it to be 40, and then also I'm getting the content size height as I type in the text box using this, and I'm setting that text input height over here, and then using that I can actually have input height assigned dynamically to this text box over here. So I have a style, height is the text input height, and if I save this over here, you can see that originally like I have a 60 here, and then I can take control of that. So if you remember, I have like I could see like 3 or 4 lines at a time, but now I still have 3, and then once I hit the maximum that I had, then it will just go to the scrolling mode. Same for iOS as well. So just wanted to let you know that this is also available in case you want to take more control over the height of text input box that you have here. Alright, with that, I think we're done. Hopefully you learned something new here and you can use this in your project. Please make sure to hit the like button below the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to actually add a very interesting video after this one and talk about some good generative AI stuff that we can do with React Native. Alright, thanks a lot. Don't forget to subscribe for the channel, and see you guys soon.